everybody, I'm coming at you today with a little bit more of an informal video. Pay no attention to the men behind the curtain. I tried to do a little bit different perspective and have just a little sit down chit chat type video, and this is what happens, so bear with me. Anyway, today's topic is a little bit different, and I thought it would be good to have a little bit of a coffee talk, if you will. I was talking with some of the other YouTubers that I'm friends with, so we decided to do a collab on how these current world events are affecting us on a personal level, on a financial level, and discuss that with y'all. I have not yet put out any videos talking about this particular topic, and I feel like that it's so large that it really can't be ignored. And I've heard that videos are getting demonetized for mentioning this, but it's so prevalent going on right now that I feel like the topic just can't be ignored. So if you're unfamiliar with me and my channel, what I'm doing here is showing y'all my debt-free journey and my journey to financial independence. I'm showing you how I am going to build wealth to retire early. And if that interests you, then scroll down, click the subscribe button. I'd love to have you as part of my community here. And if you're not familiar with my situation, I actually do work in healthcare. I do ultrasound for a living. And most recently, actually, I've been out of work for a few weeks because I had some surgery done, and I am just going back to work this week. As a matter of fact, I'm filming this on Tuesday. Video is gonna go up Friday. Today is going to be my first day back at work, so we'll see how that goes. But I do ultrasound for a living, and I work in a standalone ER, so I expect that it'll be pretty busy. And whereas most people in the current situation may have some fear for their job security, I guess I'm lucky and unlucky at the same time. I'm lucky in that I don't really have that job security fear. If anything, the opportunity for overtime may present itself in my situation. And my location, I'm in North Carolina, and as of right now, the county that I live and the county that I work, there are 0 cases of this disease that's going around, which I'm grateful for. One of the neighboring counties has 4 confirmed cases, so it's around, but it's not directly in my local area. Another thing to be thankful for. I'm unlucky in the fact that, working in healthcare puts me sort of in the front lines as far as the potential for maybe catching this disease myself. We just all do the best we can and take the most precautions we can and hope for the best. Speaking of prepping, to be honest, we haven't really done much of anything in this household. It's just me and my husband and our 2 dogs. We don't have any kids. And as far as prep goes, we did buy 1 extra case of toilet paper before the toilet paper craze really went off the rails. But that's about it. Well, I'll take it back. We did get a few extra canned goods, but as far as food goes, we're pretty well stocked in this house. My husband and I enjoy cooking, and we enjoy canning, and we've still got a bunch of canned goods from the garden that we plant every year. We've got canned goods from the prior couple of years that we've been gardening. So as far as food goes, we're more than fine. Furthermore, I mentioned we do keep a garden every year. We're planning on doing that again this year. And not only that, but me being from Western North Carolina, I could go on a whole tangent about this, but just being raised in poor Appalachia, self-reliance is a huge theme for us. And when I bought this house, I started looking around at all of the space that I have. We live on almost 5 acres, so we have plenty of space here. And so Whereas some people will go to Lowe's and they'll look at whatever bushes maybe look the prettiest to plant around their house, I look at the ones that are functional. So since I've lived here, I personally have planted a peach tree, multiple different berry bushes. I've got blueberries, blackberries, and raspberries. We've transplanted some ramps, which are a local to the area wild onion that come up in the spring, and they come up every year. They're a perennial. I've also planted a grapevine. I have also planted asparagus. Asparagus comes up in the spring every year. We just started getting some here at the house. That's another perennial that comes up annually. We'll be okay as far as food goes. We can make do. Y'all, if it comes right down to it, my husband, he's a good hunter, okay? Like, we'll be all right. Speaking to the financial aspect of our situation, if you aren't aware, my husband and I, we do keep our finances separate. So as far as budget changes go for me, there really shouldn't be a whole lot of difference. Like I say, my situation being what it is, the thing that may happen is that I actually get the opportunity for a little more overtime. So whereas some people are fearful for their job situation, I might actually be bringing in a little bit extra, which would be okay since I have been out of work recently. And that would be a very welcome addition to the budget. One thing that is slightly concerning for me though is that I had a high yield savings account that I had gotten up to almost $5,000. I had to drain that savings account recently to have my medical procedure done. And so that account is not up where I want it to be. The goal is to get it back up to $5,000. So that's one thing that I am going to work on. If I get some overtime, then it'll go towards that, and it may go towards some other financial goals that I'll mention here shortly. But really, my overall financial situation shouldn't change very much, for which I'm very grateful. And lastly, guys, what I wanted to talk about was how my investment strategy is changing during all of this crisis that we're having. There is more than just a little bit of fear in the market right now. One of the greatest investors of all time, Warren Buffett, said to be greedy when others are fearful. And to be honest, that is going to be my strategy as much as I can make it my strategy. Like I mentioned, I need to get my savings account back up, but I am going to make some investing changes while this is going on. If you are unfamiliar with me and my channel, primarily I am an index investor. However, I do have a little bit of a dividend portfolio on the side, as well as just a couple of speculative stocks that I have to keep things interesting. While a lot of other people are discussing potentially pulling out of the market, I plan on investing more, as much as I am able. I have a retirement account at my job. I'm currently contributing 7% towards that account so that I can get the company match. I am planning on, when I go in tonight, to up that 7%. I'm going to more than double it, actually. I'm going to bump it up to 15%. I don't think that that's going to affect me financially in a bad way. If you've been following my channel, then you know I recently got a base rate of pay increase by 7.7%. So it should just make my paychecks be what I was used to getting before, and I can deal with that. I should still be able to contribute to my savings account and pay all of my bills and not have any trouble there. In fact, if I'm really smart, I'll just leave it at the 15% and not drop it back down to 7% after this crisis is over. But I do have some debt that I'm still working on paying off, so that is the temptation for me there, to drop it back down to 7% just so I can get my debt paid off faster. As far as investing outside of my work account, I have a Roth IRA through M1 Finance, and that is also where my taxable account is. My taxable account is where I keep my dividend portfolio and speculative stocks. I contribute $10 weekly to my taxable account. As of right now, I think I'll just leave that at $10. And my Roth IRA, I have barely started to fund that for 2020. I already maxed it out for 2019, and I've just gotten started with my 2020 Roth IRA. I know I need to work on that savings account to get it back up to $5,000, but while the market is down, I really do want to focus on that Roth IRA some as well, and slowly dollar cost average my way into that Roth IRA until it's maxed out for 2020. Guys, I know the world is on fire right now, but opportunities like this in the market do not happen very often. Everything is down, and now is a good buying opportunity when it comes right down to it. I'm not a financial advisor. You can do whatever you like. I know there's a lot of fear in the market right now, and a lot of people are pulling out. A lot of people are having to pull out of the market because they are losing their jobs. You know, everyone's situation is different. But if you're lucky enough to be in a position like I am, where you're not super worried for job security, and you may in fact have the opportunity to earn a little bit extra, maybe give some thought to upping your investment accounts. And y'all, if you've been checking your investments, or if you haven't yet, if you don't absolutely have to pull out of the market for a financial emergency, guys, then don't. Remember what Mel Gibson said in Braveheart, okay? And if the market continues to go down, and if it drops even further, guys, just leave your investments alone. Even if the value of your investments has dropped like crazy, you still own the same number of shares that you had when the market was at all-time highs. The only difference is that the value of those shares currently is less, but you do not realize that loss unless you pull out of the market. My non-financial advice would be to hold the course. Stay the course, keep doing what you have been doing. If you're lucky enough to be in a position like mine where you can consider upping your investments, now may be the right time to consider upping them, and leave them that way if you can afford it and still be comfortable in your budget. And that point about pulling your financial investments out of the market because of an emergency, a job loss, brings me to the last point that I want to make. And I very nearly did not put this in the video, but guys, I've got to touch on it a little bit. I'm seeing some posts in some of the financial groups that I'm in on Facebook, with people who are really having a hard time in this situation, as is to be expected. They're dealing with job losses and so on and so forth. But particularly since I'm in financial groups on Facebook, I'm seeing a lot of people that are having a hard time because they have chosen to follow a certain financial guru's advice solely, and they refuse to listen to any other advice from any other knowledgeable financial person out there. So they are having a double whammy problem right now because they only had a $1,000 emergency fund. This is a perfect example of how that is not enough for most people. That's not enough for me to be comfortable, and I don't even have any children to worry about. Not only do they only have $1,000 in their emergency fund, but they have suffered a job loss recently because of the current situation in the world. And because they have chosen to follow this particular financial guru's advice, they no longer have a credit score, which is now compounding and hurting them further In job searches, a lot of places nowadays will check your credit score before you get hired. And just as an example, recently in my own situation, we recently got internet at my house here, and they had to do a soft credit inquiry to determine whether or not I had to pay a $200 deposit to get it hooked up here. Now, my credit is darn near perfect, so no, I didn't have to pay that $200 deposit. But if you're in a situation where you don't have a credit score, you're gonna have to pay that $200 deposit. And if you only had a $1,000 emergency fund, for example, then that's 20% of your fund eaten up right there that would not have otherwise needed to have been used for that. So I'm not here to say I told you so, because this is not a channel that capitalizes on bashing anyone else's advice. I'm only here because getting out of debt is great advice, but I'm here to tell you that if you have previously only been following certain people's advice and not listening to other perspectives out there, maybe now is the time to start to think for yourself and listen to a few other opinions that are out there as far as financial goes. Listen to more than one professional on this topic and come up with your own financial philosophy and financial strategy that you would like to follow going into the future. Maintaining a good credit score is just sound financial advice. You don't have to cut up all your credit cards and close those accounts when you get them paid off. So to end this video on a more positive note, y'all, we're gonna be fine. It may feel like the world is on fire. I know the news would have everyone believe that the world is coming to an end, but it is not in fact coming to an end. This is just a challenge that we will get through. Nobody knows what the market is going to do in the immediate future, but in the long term, I believe that it will return to its all-time highs that it was at before. So I'm going to try to take advantage of this situation and invest more so that in the future I will be able to make greater strides towards building wealth and reaching my long-term goal on this channel here, which is FIRE, financial independence, retire early. I'm not a six-figure earner here, so the best chance that I've got to make that happen for myself is through investing. And even though the markets are crashing, I am keeping a level head about it. I am going to continue to invest, and in fact, invest more while I can. As far as this world situation goes, we'll get through it. And the best thing that you can do is, moving into the future, learn from this, take a look at your family's finances and see what adjustments need to be made before the next world crisis happens. If you were caught off guard and did not have any extra supplies at your home or staples on hand, maybe look into doing a little bit of prepping. You don't have to go crazy with prepping. The whole point of it is to just be prepared for situations like this when they arise. It's just wise advice to be prepared for your family. So I'll leave it at that, guys. We will get through this. Use it as a learning opportunity. I hope that you and yours are well. Don't forget to check out all of the other collaborators for this video. I will have them linked down in the description box below. I hope you will check out their content and subscribe if you have not already. I hope that I will see all of y'all in my next video. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.